Assalamu alaikum, hello and welcome to Africa This Week with me, Khalil Charles. This show looks at the affairs of sub-Saharan Africa and the African diaspora. On today's programme, we ask if Chadian President Idriss Déby's election hopes could be jeopardised by a protest movement in support of a teenage girl who was brutally attacked by sons of senior officials. We have our article segment with Anissa Omar, and across the Atlantic in the United States, we reflect on the deaths of 3 young African men of East and Central African origin, and we ask what this means for the Black Lives Matters movements. But first, Nigeria's finance ministry said on Sunday that it had saved millions of dollars from the government by removing more than 20,000 ghost workers from the state payroll. Afsal Ahmed has more on this and the rest of the week's headline news.
The eliminated ghost workers represented just a percentage of non-existent staff who had been receiving monthly wages, highlighting the brazen corruption in Africa's biggest economy. Officials said stricter payroll regulation would boost the budget at a time when Nigeria's state coffers are running low due to falling global oil prices. Authorities in Nigeria's largest city ordered security to be increased at schools after heavily armed gunmen abducted 3 girls. Unidentified gunmen seized the teenagers from the dormitory at the Babington Macaulay Junior Seminary School in Ikorodu late on Monday. President Ali Bongo Ondimba, whose father ruled Gabon for 41 years, said on Monday he is seeking a second term imposed this year. If elected, he pledged he would fight unwarranted privilege and build a better life for Gabon's 1.6 million people. British bank Barclays on Tuesday said net losses more than doubled last year and announced plans to gradually reduce its majority stake in the group's African unit.
Please be seated.
Prosecutors at the International Criminal Court on Tuesday accused a Malian fighter of a war crime by unleashing a callous assault on the centuries-old World Heritage Site of Timbuktu. Faki, aged about 40, is the first fighter to appear before the ICC and the first person to face a war crimes charge for an attack on a global historical and cultural monument. A report released on Wednesday by the UN Office on Drugs and Crime says drugs coming from Latin America mainly pass through Western Africa before reaching Europe. A hunk of suspected aircraft wreckage found in Mozambique will be sent to Australia, where experts will examine whether it is a new piece in the puzzle of missing flight MH370. The Malaysian Transport Minister said late on Wednesday that initial information indicated a high possibility it came from the Boeing 777, the same model as MH370. MH370 mysteriously vanished on March the 8th 2 years ago on an overnight flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing with 239 passengers and crew on board. Guinea and Turkey on Thursday signed several defence, health and energy agreements as Turkish President Recep Erdogan visited the West African country.
réalise en Turquie que l'Afrique comme continent et Guinée comme pays vont être des joueurs plus importants dans les années qui arrivent. Et la Turquie, pour nous, toucher l'Afrique et les pays africains comme la Guinée est très important. Et de grandir l'export aussi, c'est très important pour nous. Et de aussi grandir nos marques en dehors de la Turquie.
Photographs of a girl who had allegedly been brutally gang-raped spread on social media, leading to protests internationally. Protesters said a girl named Zouhoura was kidnapped last weekend and gang-raped by 5 young men from the families of senior officers. The men then allegedly posted a video online showing the victim in tears. The video has since been removed. The incident has prompted a huge public outcry, with thousands taken to the streets in recent days under the slogan, "That's enough."
Well, joining us in the studio to discuss the story of Zouhoura is the activist Berno Sugi, who's heading the protest movement to bring awareness to this issue in the UK. Thank you very much indeed, Berno, for coming in. What was the initial reaction after this incident? Because, of course, a terrible thing to happen, and then, of course, to be posted onto social media, that must have been very traumatic, not just for the girl, but for her family and those close to her. So what was the reaction that people had?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Charles and Islamic Channel for allowing me this opportunity to come today and talk about the story. First of all, what happened to Zouhoura, this is not the first incident, and obviously it has been happening to other girls in my country back home, Chad. So this incident has shocked the whole nation, and obviously people come out from the streets of London, Paris, America, in Middle East in protesting because this story didn't happen for normal, ordinary people. It's happened by the very high-profile people they meant to be running the country, foreign minister, son of the generals. And after they did the incident, they obviously tried to cover up the story and for Zouhoura to not speak up. They took her to the police station and the TV station, Zouhoura arguing people, please don't go out and do any demonstration. So
they actually tried to stop her from saying anything?
Of course.
And all the people around her?
Yeah, they tried to stop her and they tried to cover up the story.
This is incredibly brave of her to come forward, isn't it?
Of course, and and Zouhoura at the moment, she's obviously having a very difficult time and difficult moment, as you mentioned. She's going through a lot of mental issues and traumatic issues as well.
How old is Zouhoura?
Zouhoura, she's 17 years old.
17.
17.
So you're saying she's going through a lot of...
She's going through a lot of difficulties, and also she's having a lot of pressure from the government at the moment, and also, well, we haven't just I had a phone call yesterday from Anjimena that was saying, well, Zouhoura, she needs help. It's no help from someone like me. We live in UK with a very small community, but international help. We're asking help from the United Kingdom, from the Mr. Cameron himself, to look at this issue. We're looking for Mr. Barack Obama. Please come and help Chadian nation. We're asking the French government to look into this story. It is very important. This is our life. So please, it's not about other region. Chad is a very important Central African country, and it is time for the Western government and also to the other organization and world community, international community, United Nations, Human Rights Organization, Amnesty International. They need to look and understand what's going on in Chad. It is very important. We are sending a message today on behalf of the Chadian community in the United Kingdom and worldwide. This serious incident happened. It is very serious.
So what you're saying kind of indicates that it's quite an endemic problem, and that not only Zouhoura has suffered things like this.
It is not only Zouhoura.
But how does this stem from? Does it stem from the attitude towards women? What's the position of women in Chad?
Well, if you go to there, according to the according to the Human Rights report about Chad, women in Chad, repeatedly kept the very violence against women is routinely happening in Chad. Domestic violence against women, right of education as well. They not go to in terms of the education. We have a lot of health issue regards to the women's, and obviously, a lot of rapes, happening in recent years. Zouhoura is not the only case. We have a lot of cases and a lot of other scenarios. And we're going to promise the Chadian government we're going to bring those cases to all the international community, starting from the Human Rights and Amnesty International.
Now, you mentioned the Chadian government there, and in particular, some of the people, the sons of the officers that were accused. One of them is, in fact, I understand, the foreign minister. Yes. So this comes right to the heart of the Chadian government. What has been the reaction from the president? What has the president said about this issue?
Well, the president, it is surprising because the president, he didn't mention anything about what happened about this story. And, well, it's been only just yesterday or 2 days ago, they just made an amendment on Facebook, Twitter, that he's concerned about what happens. He just only concerned, but he didn't understand, why the Chadian community and the Chadian people all over the world are protesting about these girls. So the Chadian president reaction, is not enough.
This must be very, very embarrassing for the government, given that these are the sons of very prominent people in the country. How's the government reacted to that? Have they tried to cover it up? Or what have they tried to do? What have they said about this issue?
They haven't said enough or anything about this story. Well, the reason being, because these people is untouchable and they have the ability to do whatever they can in the country. And it is very common, I'm just trying to tell to your viewer, Chad is ranked one of the very in terms of the United Nations report, in terms of education, in health infrastructures, even though we are producing oil since 2003. Okay, asking any Chadian citizen, if asking what is this money going to, what they invest are they investing this money in terms of development programs or infrastructure or health or other things, is nothing happening. All the Idris Deby and his government know where is our money going to and which account this money is paying to.
I want to know how this will affect him, because he's actually up for elections coming up in April. What do you think this movement will do in terms of his hopes of securing another victory?
Well, when you say the word election in my country, Chad, well, people are going to start laugh. Why? Because it's a joke. Because we don't have elections. When you talk about election, that people they can participate in fairly and freely, well, we cannot do that in Chad because people are afraid to go there. Intimidation, activists, journalists, bloggers, university, freedom fighters, people asking for the position, they all are detained.
Well, since Chad gained its independence, it's only had three presidents, hasn't it? And Idris Deby came over during, was it a coup that he actually took over power? And although the constitution said there can only be two-term presidencies, he's actually going for his fifth term, isn't he?
Yeah, he has changed the constitution so he can allow himself not to stay in power as much as he can. But we are sending a message, especially this year in February, not just only me, all my brothers and sisters and all the Chadian community, enough is enough. And there is no fifth term for Idris Deby. We're going to promise you, I'm going to promise all Chadian national, all worldwide, Idris Deby not going to be elected for the fifth time in these elections.
Let's go back to what can be done, because obviously the situation of women, as you mentioned, in the country is not as it should be. Going forward, how will your movement improve the conditions, improve the rights of women? What do you hope to achieve?
Well, I can achieve very little. That's why we're asking help from women's rights, and I believe in the UK we have a lot of women rights organizations. They can help us, in terms of to bring awareness about how to can prevent violence against women, and also, about how going to help victim of rape, like what we have now, Zouhoura, as well, So also, this is not a work that can be done, by the very small minority community of Chad and in the UK. This is need the help of the international organization, such as the human rights, the United Nations development programs, and also you have the Amnesty International, and also the UK government. You need to help out the Chadian nation, to obviously, to go through the democracy where they can live freely and fairly in the country.
But Bernard, tell us about the women and the representation of women. Can you tell us what the representation of women perhaps in government is, or perhaps in high office? Is there a lack of women in high office?
Well, if you're asking about the lack of the women in the office, there's no. Well, Idris Deby sharing the power. Well, obviously, he shared the power, with his families, on his college and based on his tribe. So the Chadian government at the moment, we obviously, based on Idris Deby and his tribe, we don't have any high-rank women in the government. We don't have women in terms of the educations. We don't have women in the health sector. We don't have women in any other programs, So obviously, the whole country run by Idris Deby and his...
You mentioned Idris Deby and his tribe, you said. Idris Deby is from the Zouhoura tribe, isn't he? And they're perhaps one of the most powerful tribes. And he's been accused of bringing the Zouhoura around him. And Zouhoura comes from a different tribe, doesn't she?
Yes.
What tribe does she come from?
She comes from the Quran tribe.
So does this now make it a tribal issue? Do you think that what has happened, will there be tribal tensions around this issue? Well,
we hope we not go to that part, because we believe, we're looking for the united Chadian. We believe, we're all Chadian, whether we are Zouhoura or Quran or any tribe. We want to live all in the country with equality, freedom, democracy, and dignity. This is not about Zouhoura, she's because from this tribe and those from other tribe. We are looking for justice for Zouhoura. This is the campaign we're rising on the change.org, justice for Zouhoura. And also we are sending a message and asking Mr. Idris Deby's motto for his campaign, it says, unité, travail, progrès, which is which is unite and work and progress. Well, the Chadian community and the Chadian people are asking today, when he said unity, what type of the unity he brought to the country? The country is more divided than ever. When he said about the work, Chad ranked as one is the worst country in terms of the employment rights in Africa and other regions. When you talk about the progress, can I answer that question, Mr. Idris Deby? 25 years, what type of progress he made to our country? is nothing. No infrastructure, again, no health, no education. So
that really is a serious message that you're asking from him. Now, you do have a coordinated movement. You're here in London. Where else do you have...
Well, I'm here in London. We have in our brothers in France, in Germany, in United States of America, in Canada, as well in Middle East and other regional companies. This is not a movement from now because the Chadian community worldwide, they stand up together and sending one message to Idriss Déby and his government: enough is enough, and we are looking justice for Zouhoura and Abashou, the 14 years old school boys, that have been shot by the security forces last week. Okay, when you go out to protest,
Okay, Bernard, we've run out of time, but thanks very much indeed for coming to the programme and sharing us with everyone. Thank you. Now, turning now to an exhibition which has opened in London to honour the boxing legend Muhammad Ali. It features gloves that from his most famous fights to the dazzling rhinestone and a jewelled boxing gown which was given to him by the rock and roll singer Elvis Presley in 1973. Adama Munu has more.
The day of the fight, I'm planning to reveal the round and the minute, and I would tell you the second if I knew how long it would take the referee to get from his position to start out. You all make me laugh.
Boxing idol Muhammad Ali's gloves and pieces of his childhood home are among the artefacts at an exhibition in London honouring the greatest. The vast show opened on Friday at London's O2 Arena, tracing the story of the boxer from his childhood through his glittering and brutal career to his elevation as a cultural and political icon. Visitors will also be able to see the wooden door frame from his childhood home in Louisville, Kentucky, and white boots used during his fight with Jimmy Young, with soles worn from repeated Ali shuffles. On show in the city where they became infamous are Ali's gloves from his bout against British fighter Henry Cooper at Wembley Stadium in 1963. The left one carrying a large rip. Ali's legendary trainer, Angelo Dundee, admitted he opened the tier to buy his fighter more time to recover in the corner after being knocked down by Cooper's fearsome left hook. The event, which runs until August, is co-curated by best-selling Ali author Davis Miller, who stressed Ali's importance as a man and cultural figure. More than 20,000 people have signed a British petition to give Ali an honorary knighthood.
Londoners have always had a particular affinity for Ali, going all the way back to 1963, following his first fight with Henry Cooper. Ali himself feels a similar affinity for Londoners. He has felt understood and admired here when he was reviled and loathed in the United States.
The show examines Ali's political journey from pariah, after refusing to fight in the Vietnam War, to counterculture trailblazer, and later to establishment hero feted by a string of presidents.
I'm a clean, righteous living person. I don't look like I don't see where I could be a villain.
What an amazing man, a legend. After the break, we'll be looking at the article segment, and we'll also delve deep into the killings of 3 African Muslim teenagers and ask why this tragic news has been effectively ignored by the mainstream media. See you shortly.